Hey guys, so this is my grandma. She's going to just tell you about her insight about World War II. So yeah, take it away, Grandma.
Well, Emily has asked me about World War II, and I do remember a little bit of it. I was 7 when the war was over in 1945. And I remember as a little girl, blackouts we had in California. We lived in Malibu. And because there were actually submarines off the coast of California. And I remember when the war was over. I don't remember much about the atomic bomb, other than that was why the war ended. But years later, I was always interested in that. And I've asked my mother's friends what they thought. And I was thinking that they would be very sorry about the atomic bombs. Actually, my mother's generation, the Great Generation, they were never, ever sorry about the atomic bomb. I never talked to a man or a woman who was, because they felt it stopped the war and it stopped American boys from being killed, period. And that's how they thought of it. I also was very impressed over my lifetime about 3 things about World War II. One was the Battle of the Bulge, being from a military family. Emily's grandfather was an aviator and my father was. The Battle of the Bulge was the one that the military people talk about as a horrific war, a part of the war, and showed extreme American bravery. Dunkirk is another thing that you should study. That was the English rescuing their people from the shores of France as the Germans were gaining on them. And the other one are the code talkers. The Indians, the American Indians, that would talk to each other in their native language, and the Germans could not break their code. The Germans could break all the other codes up until the Indians. And they used the Indians. They found out in World War I they started, and then in World War II. I thought those 3 were very interesting. Emily also asked me about the Japanese internment, and that is something I think everyone feels badly about. Everyone over the years has talked about that, but they really didn't know what to do about it, because they finally said, well, we're making them safer in these camps. But that was tragic. And the only other tragic thing is, of course, when the Jewish ship tried to come into America out of Germany, and they were sent back. Well, I remember that we would collect the tin foil, you know, from gum wrappers, and we'd roll them in a ball and turn them in. And we'd get huge, sometimes huge balls, because they were saving any tin or metal, and also rubber bands, any rubber. And that was something that the school children could do. My mother had coupons. They were food coupons, and because everything was rationed, groceries were rationed, everything they bought was rationed. And I remember we weren't allowed to have sugar in the house, so Mother would trade her coupons for shoe coupons. She didn't want to do without shoes. My friend Joanne, who was from Hawaii, and my age, she said that the Japanese gardeners hinted that perhaps the Japanese were going to attack Hawaii, but nobody knew for sure. And that's the only other thing I can remember about the war, except when it ended. And that was the most exciting time in a military town, Pensacola. Everyone ran out and would honk their horns. It was such a wonderful day. So that's what I remember from the war.